Hello, this is an assessment of this Bechstein Model 5, that's 2 meters long, made in 1900 and just come into stock, trying to decide what to do with it. Now the casework is all original, which is encouraging. The key tops are without any chips, so they're quite yellowed. I think if we buff them, a lot of the yellow would come off. We can scrape and polish them, which takes a lot more of the yellow off, but we prefer just to buff them and leave them a bit yellow unless the client really wants that. It's our piano, so we've got to decide. It's a stock piano. We've got to make it, obviously, we want to make it really perfect because we don't like doing Bechsteins without perfecting them. Interesting, the seller here is Alderson Rental, Newcastle on Tyne. We bought this piano, though it came from Cornwall. Now the veneer is all there, but the casework is crazed, like you often get with this age of Bechstein black pianos, and you can see it's very crazed. So obviously cosmetically we would want to repolish this piano. If you're interested in it and would like to buy it less expensively, then that's always a possibility, because when we fully restore, we literally fully restore, and if you look on our YouTube channel, you'll find several Bechsteins that we fully restored. So that's a big commitment and a lot of work. So the casework, though, as I say, there's no veneer missing, just very crazed on the top. So we would either redo this or sell it inexpensively, work on all the technical side first. There's the serial number that dates the piano for us. Underneath Bechsteins, there's nearly always a large number printed here, or maybe in the middle here, and we've got a record of those, how they correlate to the real serial number, but that's not the real serial number. That's what we call the case number. And while I'm down here, the legs seem to be in very, very good condition. We'll check them over for woodworm. Obviously that's really important. Sorry, this isn't our storage area, so it's a bit messy, and the back leg there, they're all in very good condition. Soundboard underneath, we can't see any real cracks on it at all. They might show lines on the top, sorry, there's a cobweb there, but there's no cracks on it at all, which is very encouraging. So that's also very, very encouraging. So I've said many times before in assessing pianos, tightness of tuning pins, they are very tight. I think that these are original tuning pins, and by the way, if you're in the trade and know what this number is, I've seen that on another piano recently. It's obviously a stock number or probably a stock number from a shop at some stage. I've often seen this little sign here before as well. If you're familiar with that, I'd love to know. Now this worries me always when somebody's changed some of the bass strings. It is very, very flat, this piano. It's 428 instead of 440, so it's very, very flat. Let's have a listen to the tone. Now that's excellent. Even replacing the strings wouldn't make it much richer than that. So it's quite remarkable. I think these may well be original strings. Might surprise you but strings do last and last. Now they're very soft sounding, and that must be the hammers. But the overall, the underlying tone is nice and full around here, so that means that the down bearing hasn't been lost. The crown is still there, which is very encouraging. If it was fully restored, it would be a very delicious sounding piano. The frame looks a bit mottled. Bechstein frames always tend to go like that, and the soundboard again on the top, you can't see any evidence of cracks at all, which is quite unusual really. There's no moth eaten into the felts either, which is obviously something we've got to check as well. Have a look at the felts under the keys too. Now looking at the felts underneath the keys, there's no evidence of moth at all. I'll look on the key bed as well just to check, but we can see no moth whatsoever in any of these, which again is very, very encouraging. And these hammers here, you can see they're very, very worn. That's why it's so soft sounding. It's been played and played and played and never been worked on really. It's so common. And if we look at the hammers here, they're very stiff. So these hinges are very stiff too. That accounts for quite a lot of extra weight in the keys that shouldn't be there. This is the rollers. Let's see if they need changing. Well, they're quite flat on the top. They should be really rounded, and the hammers resting on the rail normally be up there, so obviously the blow distance is too. So lots of work to do. Very hard decisions these are to make, because we would really we often fully restore, but we're obviously trying to do pianos less expensively too. So if we felt this piano was suitable for that, we'd just recondition it. Now that's interesting at the top there. That probably means it's hitting the frame. I can't get the camera at the right angle to show you, but they are actually catching the frame. You can see the white bits on the hammers there. That's as they hit the frame, as they come up right at the end of their travel, they just catch the frame, and that's what's making the mark there, and obviously that is affecting the touch. So that's an assessment of a Bechstein Model 5 grand piano. That's 2 meters long, just coming to stock, made in 1900, and just trying to decide what to do with it. Sometimes it's very difficult to decide. We're trying to source pianos that we don't have to fully restore. In this case, the outside of the piano is well, there's no veneer missing, but it needs repolishing. It's very, very sticky, as you can see. So the soundboard is almost perfect, or it is perfect really. There's nothing to do on it, which is very encouraging. Well, cosmetically, we would refinish the soundboard when we refinish the frame, just to make it all perfect. So if we're going to fully restore the piano, there's plenty of videos of us fully restored. In fact, we have some Bechsteins in that are fully restored at the moment. I can hardly play this because it's so sticky. But it's a very rich sounding piano, so when it's fully restored, it'll be rich sounding as well. Now the minimum that we'd do on this, if we were going to sell it without fully restoring, is obviously to sort out the notes, to get the touch so that it's very refined. We want it to be as refined as a new piano. That's what our aim is. And also the tuning pins are tight, which is very encouraging. It's very, very low pitch wise. I'm not happy about the fact that some of the bass strings have been replaced, which is some of the tenor strings particularly, which is not nice. So really leaning towards full restoration, but it could be sold as it is, with the hammers changed and the action reconditioned, probably changing the rollers as well, hammers, shanks and rollers. So even that's an expensive job. If you're interested in the piano or would like to comment on it, please email us info@robertspianos.com or leave a comment under the video. Now very often when a piano is fully restored, the music stand is changed because this style of music stand isn't the most popular one. And so if you'd like to comment on that, I'm sure you'd say we'd like to keep the piano as it was originally. Well, the outside case is going to be completely transformed anyway. This Bechstein can be kept. Sometimes the very old Bechsteins, they take off the one that says kings and emperors, and the extra medallion on here is taken off, and this is put on to make it look more like a modern piano. We don't really want to do any of that. We want to try and keep the piano original if possible. So this style of music desk though is very often changed because the other style is more popular, and obviously it's very, very difficult to get enough a high enough price to pay for all the restoration. That's the problem. So please do comment on that, and as I say, you could write to info@robertspianos.com if you're interested in this piano as it is. Within a few days this piano the full restoration process will probably be started, unless somebody takes an interest beforehand. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that's been helpful.